Hi there and welcome back to Get Indie Gaming and to the second episode of our series going over the indie games we're most looking forward to seeing more from, hopefully within a 2021 timeframe. We've pulled together 50 in total, some no doubt you'll know already, and yet hopefully we'll show off a good number of new games to add to your wish lists. As always, let us know down in the comments which of these games you like the look of and anything else you think we might take a look at. Let's begin, and in no real particular ranking order. Listed on its Steam homepage as coming out in February of next year. With a demo you can pick up today as this video airs, we have Dandy Ace. Described as an over-the-top, fast-paced roguelite, Dandy Ace features a 2D isometric experience involving a wily magician looking to use his magical cards and plenty of fighting and looting as you look to take on and defeat what's called the Green-Eyed Illusionist. We like the sound of the card-based gameplay, with it offering up the chance to adapt and change your playstyle according to your own strengths and playstyle desires. We first spotted this one back towards the middle of September during the EGX Digital Showcase, and having played a little more of it during the making of this series of new indie games expected out next year, it feels like it's shaping up to be perhaps the roguelite to beat over the course of the year ahead. Dandy Ace is currently listed as coming to PC via Steam, the PlayStation and Xbox consoles, with it also coming to the Nintendo Switch. Up next at number 9, and something else we're thinking could be really rather special. Described as a vicious and brutal action-adventure RPG that on paper seems to offer up some deliciously different gameplay in what arguably is a somewhat saturated field. With Grime, we're really interested in what the game's looking to do with its upgrade path. The info we have suggests players will be able to tailor their character's skill set and abilities within a unique fashion that's bespoke to your personal play styles. Sure, that in itself isn't precisely particularly very new, although in Grime, much of these upgrades seem to come from your character absorbing the traits of your enemies, and in so doing, you're able to use their own skills against themselves and become ever the greater warrior. Grime is also a visual treat, stocked full of melancholy surrealism, within its interconnected world where weapons are said to be alive and possess the ability to change and mutate their forms during combat, which again feels and looks a nice little touch. As for the boss battles, well, they also look pretty darn solid, and we suspect will provide tough and stern challenges for players of all skills. As far as we can tell, Grime is headed out next year onto PC by way of Steam, although so far, other platforms are yet to be confirmed. Moving on, and at number 8, something a little more wholesome. Garden Story will see you explore a lushly rendered living world of pixel art as you look to stave off an evasive terror called the Rot that threatens your island's home. Much of what Garden Story seems to be doing is driven in the creation of a community. You'll take on requests, complete favours for the people you meet, all the while caring for gardens, gathering resources, and generally making the island a better place to live for its inhabitants. As for something positive to look forward to gaming-wise for 2021, well, Garden Story certainly seems destined to sit right up there at the pointy end of things, with it headed to Steam at some point over the course of the year. At number 7, Genesis Noir has featured a few times here on Get Indie Gaming over the last couple of years, and each time we see it, it looks fresher and, well, generally more interesting with each take. Kickstarted back in 2018, Genesis Noir is an abstract and decidedly odd in the best of ways, with it looking to deliver an action detective-inspired adventure. Having spent time with the demo on numerous occasions, all of this is also wrapped up within a non-traditional point-and-click based mechanics, with a focus on tactile puzzling and exploration. The gameplay sees you interact and experiment with objects in what's a cause and effect kind of system, which feels deftly implemented and somewhat new. Add in these distinctive visuals and of course an utterly wonderful pitch-perfect musical score, Genesis Noir may turn a few heads when it launches early next year on PC and the Xbox platform. Up now and at number 6. She Dreams Elsewhere is likely to be a surreal adventure RPG about dreams and to the extent they mirror reality. You'll play as Thalia, an anxiety-ridden comatose lady, on a journey to help see off and beat the demons and nightmares keeping her unconscious, while at the same time discovering how she came to be in such circumstances. Yeah, we know that kinda sounds somewhat on the heavy kind of things. Although what really keeps us wanting to see more from She Dreams Elsewhere is not only the surreal and visually striking art style, but also what seems to be a deceptively simple turn-based battle system woven into the story, which itself is likely to end up with something that's deeply emotional, with it focusing on self-identity, mental health and personal well-being. She Dreams Elsewhere is expected out in early 2021 onto PC, where there's a demo to play via Steam as this video airs, with it also headed to the Switch. Onwards to number 5. White Shadows is a fresh and cinematic looking platformer that's headed to PC and also to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S platform. Players will take on the role of Raven Girl on a mission to escape the surveillance state called White City, which happens to be run by a pack of wolves. Said to contain a meaningful story and one that's dark in places, funny in others, but also gripping and relevant to modern day life throughout. From what we can tell, your character is branded a criminal, and the resources of the state are brought out to capture you, with you perhaps leading the fight for your fellow citizens to rise up and overthrow the ruling wolves. It certainly looks different, and here's hoping there's plenty of meat within the story. As for the platforming, well, that certainly looks decent enough, with White Shadows expected to pop out at some point over the course of next year. At number 4, and something that's expected out in early 2021, Tohu was one of the standout games from the Steam Festival of Gaming edition just gone. The demo had us playing through the first area of this quite frankly ever so charming point-and-click adventure game, where you play as a little girl joined in her adventure by her mechanical alter ego Cubus, where you go out exploring, solve the odd puzzle here and there, and set about to uncover the many secrets that power the world. Each of the game's fish-themed planets are handcrafted, and everything just looks so bright and vivid, with the musical score coming from none other than Christopher Larkin, who many of you will know was responsible for the soundtrack of Hollow Knight. If this is of interest, well, it's coming to the PC, the Switch, as well as the Xbox and PlayStation platforms.
Hey, I'm over here. Am I in the frame?
Hold still.
Like this? Or more like this?
Coming in at number 3, Forever Ago feels like the kind of game you can put alongside the likes of Gone Home, Firewatch, or perhaps What Remains of Edith Finch. It's a single-player road trip adventure about an elderly gent, a dog, a van, and a search for redemption following a tragic twist of fate. The road trip sees players head north, all the while snapping pictures, solving small puzzles, and learning about the places you visit and the people you meet along the road. Forever Ago comes from a pair of developers, with it also looking into themes such as loss and regret, with those tempered by aspects of hope, friendship, courage, and perhaps finding solace from things that have happened in the past. The visuals in the trailer are pretty darn striking, as is the audio, with it featuring a soundtrack by the same composer that gave us Kind Words and Slay the Spire. As for the voice actors, well, that's all taken care of by some huge names in the field, with Valiant Hearts narrator Dave Petit, and also Cissy Jones, who voiced Delilah in Firewatch. Forever Ago is expected to come out at some point in 2021, with platforms still to be confirmed. Okay, so let's straight up and say it, putting The Last Night in any rundown of games possibly coming out next year feels a tad risky. After all, aside from a few bits of news here and there, there's been scant new info on this game's release and development since early 2019, when the creator mentioned via Twitter things had run into massive business, legal and funding issues. Apparently a new trailer, hey, this one on screen is now 3 years old, was canned just before the 2018 Games Awards, with the team at the time looking for additional funding to be able to take things forward. If all of this is new to you, The Last Night is often pitched as a cinematic adventure game in the same style as Flashback from the classic platformer from way back in 1992. So yes, it feels both right and wrong in equal measures to once more showcase this game as, well, we're in no position to know any more than anyone else not connected to developers or publishers. Either way, we can't understate how spectacular and impressive all of this still looks. So will The Last Night make it out next year? We'll just have to wait and see. And the final game to feature in this second of 5 episodes of indie games we most want to play in 2021 is Axiom Verge 2. Originally expected out on the Nintendo Switch at some point in the cluster that has been 2020, this sequel to the much acclaimed Metroid tribute is due out at some point in the first half of next year. Thomas Happ, the developer, has mentioned the delay here is naturally enough been caused by the ongoing complexities and unpredictability of the ongoing pandemic, with other issues such as complications with the game's enemies and overall art style as further reasons for the delay. For us though, well, we can sit back and wait for this one to come out when it's good and ready. We love the original, and we're pretty sure the sequel will be just as wonderful. So, which of these or any other games expected out next year are you most looking forward to getting hold of? Drop us a comment down below, and if you've liked that video, please click the like button. Likewise, if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to the channel with the notification bells turned on. We've plenty more content coming out this year and early next, and a subscription is the best way of staying fully up to date with all of our indie gaming content. Either way, many thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again here soon for more indie game videos.